All right, welcome to another Friday night episode of Keto Rocks. We are your hosts. You have the twosome tonight. And to my left is Brian Damage Forsythe of Kix. And of course, I'm Jim Hobbs. And we're going to let Dr. Steve give a word or address his public here for a few moments. And then we'll get back on and go ahead and spend the rest of the evening with you guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Steve will make a prepared statement. My fellow Ketonians, today I am unfortunately here to announce my departure from the Keto Rocks podcast. I had to evaluate my life and figure out what to do because I'm constantly in a hurry. I'm constantly feeling behind. I'm constantly feeling like I'm not getting everything done. And so some changes have to be made. And in keto terms, the last pound you put on is the first pound you take off. So as I need to cut some things out of my schedule, this podcast, unfortunately, is the first to go. Now, I'm grateful. There's no hard feelings with any of the staff. You, the audience, have been my 1,000 points of light. Well, my couple hundred points of light anyway. But I've lost almost 50 pounds in the keto lifestyle, and it's ongoing. So I believe in the product. I think everybody should continue to eat your meat. And I'm glad that there are shows like Keto Rocks to bring people together and serve as a resource to get information disseminated and to share stories of love and success. But in the sunset, this twilight of my tenure with Keto Rocks, I thought we can take a moment or two and observe some silence as we retire the hat.
All right. Thanks, Dr. Steve, for those words. You will be missed. In your short tenure here, you brought a lot of laughter.
Yes, he did. And then maybe now I can get a word in edgewise.
So the anniversary show is a little bit too much for him, or else he wasn't able to handle 3 shows with James Breakwell, the Exploding Unicorn. So maybe that third one got to him. But anyway, no, he's got a pretty packed schedule. We wish him nothing but success and all the best. And he's welcome to come back from time to time and just drop in anytime he wants. He's got an open seat here at Keto Rocks. With that being said, we're going to change it up a little bit on you all. We talk about keto and carnivore, and we're always talking about recipes for us to consume. But I remember, I don't know how long ago it was, but I remember I was talking to Brian off the air, and Brian's like, "What do you feed your dog?" And I was like, "Oh, I feed him this." He's like, "You feed him basic." What he was telling me in a nice way was, "You feed him that crap." And so before I tell you what I feed him now, you remember that conversation, Brian?
Vaguely, yeah. I've had that conversation with other people too. So
Brian, what is it that you feed Smokey? What is Smokey privileged to eat every day?
Well, she gets exclusively raw food, and it's just because she's kind of got the same gut problems that I do.
But inherit them, huh?
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, she used to have. I inherited her from Janice's father, and when he had her, he just fed her Friskies and Hill's dry food, and all the crap food that people feed their animals, and she had the worst gut problems. She'd always have diarrhea, and they were always taking her to the vet to have her get her checked, and she'd throw up, and so finally while I was still in California, Janice had another cat that had a sensitive stomach and started feeding it raw food, and we decided to try that on Smokey, and it worked. So that's all I do. I buy, I get my meat some of my meat I get from Tennessee grass-fed farms up in Clarksville, and they sell this ground. It's like just chicken backs, ground chicken in ducks and turkey backs, and it's just like ground. It's like ground meat, and so that's what I feed her. I don't cook it. I just give it to her raw, and she loves it. And I also get I mix in organ meats with that too. I grind it up.
And how old is Smokey?
She's 16.
Wow, she looks great for 16.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, bouncing back from all that horrible food she was eating all those years. But yeah, this food really made a difference with her.
You know, one of the things that with our shepherd that passed away last year, he developed some type of I forget what it was. It was stomach cancer or something, but his stomach was filling full of blood, and he started one day. He woke up and he was a very spunky dog. Like he loved to run. He loved to play. And he woke up one day and he couldn't even get up anymore. Like he was like limping. It was like he'd hurt himself. And Peggy said, you know, I don't know why I think this, but I think we should start feeding him raw hamburger. And so we would literally feed him just a pound of raw hamburger. And all of a sudden, within a week's time, he no longer had the limp. He had energy again. He was bouncing around like his old self. He lasted another year free from pain, going to just natural hamburger, raw hamburger. And so, you know, when you asked me that question about Slinky, our Basset Hound, Peggy said, yeah, you know what? Why don't we? We learned from Jack. I said, that's a good point. So I still got in the garage a trash can full of, I mean, we bought good dog food. We bought the blue bag at Costco, which is Blue Wolf or something. It's supposed to be really good. But we then switched over to every day we cook, or not every day, every week we cook. We take 3 pounds of turkey with 1 pound of hamburger, a can of tuna, and a can of sardines, and we cook it all together. And then we portion out 9 ounces in each Ziploc bag, and we break out, I think we get 12 or 14 bags, put them in the fridge. And Slinky gets a bag in the morning and a bag at 6 o'clock in the morning and a bag at 6 o'clock in the evening. And I'm telling you, he is looking great. He's been on that diet now for probably, I'd say 6 months. His coat is so shiny and he's got so much energy. He's lost weight. He's just a different dog and he's so much happier. So, you know, I was like, wow, you know what? And so this morning I was like, man, you know what? We never talk about that. I know Brian's talked to me about it and you say you talk to other people, but it really does make all the difference in the world to feed your dog the keto carnivore lifestyle that you live.
Well, it only goes to figure, you know, the effect it has on the human body. Of course, it's going to have probably more of an effect on an animal because they're closer to you know, their ancestors, it seems. But yeah, it's like if you ever check out the ingredients on regular store-bought dog food, it's like horrendous the stuff they put in there. And when I was working at that pet clinic, you know, we'd get the reps from Hill's Prescription Diet, and they'd come in and take us to lunch and pay for our little staff meeting lunches. And they'd talk about all these horrible ingredients. And this is before I knew it. I didn't know anything.
Right.
And the way that they convince you that it's good for the dog, like corn, it's like, what? Like corn is not good for a dog. It's not good for a human. And you know, that's why so many dogs, you know, people's pets, they have weight problems. And, you know, sometimes it's from table scraps, but a lot of times it's table scraps and that horrible dog food, like on top of it, you know. And it's just, yeah, and all those skin problems that dogs have, like your dog, you know, Basset Hounds probably are famous for skin problems. And now that you're feeding it this way, I'm sure he doesn't have any problems.
Yeah, I'll post a picture so people can see just how healthy and shiny he is. But I mean, you know, another thing is, and most people love their animals. They love their cats. They love their dogs. And you have a special bond with your animal than you have with any human. And so if you love them, why not just give them the best? And I know one of my best friends, Steve Stepanek, he always does that to his dogs. He cooks them up. But the thing that, so I went online to see if there's any healthy, fresh alternatives out there online. And I found a couple, but they still put rice. And I don't know how, they put other ingredients that I would not eat. Like they put sweet potato, and different ingredients. They're fresh, and they'll deliver them to you. They have a shelf life of 7 days, they said, but they're really, really expensive. They're like $7.50 a day.
Yeah, you're better off just doing it yourself, really. Just getting, because like the stuff I get for Smokey, it's sort of the leftover stuff that they don't sell after they've taken the parts off the chickens and all that. So it's really cheap, and I get like a pound for like less than $5, and I buy it like 12 pounds at a time.
So do you take it, then bring it home and just mix it all together, and do you portion it out, or do you?
Yeah, since I'm right here, I'll show you what I do. I've got a bag. It says Smokey's Food on it.
Aww.
And it's just a Ziploc, and I put it in snack bags. It's like little individual bags. And like every other day, I'll pull one of these out and put it up top so it thaws. And that lasts like 3 days maybe for her. And it's just, I don't know if you can see it, it's frozen. But yeah, so that's the chicken and duck and turkey. And then this is the organ. This is frozen right now, so that's why it looks frozen. But that's the organ grind. I mix a little of that in with it too to give her some extra vitamins and stuff. So yeah, and I mean it's not cooked and it's raw, and she loves it.
Now, do you feed your cat? Do you have food down all the time, or you feed it at a specific time in the morning, a specific time in the evening?
Yeah, I'll feed her when I get up, and then around 5 in the evening. Until the time changes. I try to stick with the time, so when the time changes, it'll be 6 o'clock. But right now it's 5. And also, here's this is I used to feed her this. This is actually a store bought, but this is raw food too. It's Stella Select.
Now, is that in the refrigeration section of the store?
In the freezer section.
Okay.
And this is it's basically just. I mean, it does have some other ingredients in it, but it doesn't have all the weird stuff. It's probably the cleanest raw food I could find. And here's what they look like. But you know what the weird thing was? She kind of got turned off to this, so that's why I went exclusively to the other stuff. They're little discs, and they're frozen. You let them thaw out.
Wow.
She used to love this stuff, and I don't know what turned her off. The last couple times I tried to feed it to her, because it's convenient for when I have a pet sitter to have this.
Right.
But the last couple times she ate it, for some reason she puked it up.
Ew, that's not good.
Yeah, she rarely pukes up that raw food. I never have a problem with that.
Slinky used to, he went for a spell when I would buy the bag food. He would smell it and he didn't want it. So you kind of wonder, is there a bad batch? Especially last year, there were so many different recalls on dog food, and dog food actually killed dog. I mean, there was a huge recall on store-bought dog food. And so that's the other reason that I was like, Peggy and I was like, you know what? We're not ever going back to buying that crap for him again. And if you're serving, look, sometimes you have to. I mean, it is cheap. Trust me, I understand the economic impact it can have on your budget, but I just know that looking at Slinky here and just how energetic he is, how shiny his coat is, and he's actually better all around. His demeanor, everything's better about him
because he's eating what he's supposed to eat.
Yeah, and it's almost this sounds crazy, but it's almost like he's like, yes, like he trusts you now. Like there's a bond because you're finally giving me what I need. And so I'm going to now give you what you need. Because literally he was like looking at me the other food, and I would pour it in his bowl, and he was like, smell it and walk off. And he just like start crying. He's like, I don't want to eat this. I'm like, Smokey, I got nothing else to give you. I mean, Slinky, I got nothing else to give you. I'm saying Smokey because our last basset hound was named Smokey too. So and he looks just like him. But then it kind of makes you feel bad. You're like, wow, you're sitting there giving a dog's telling you, listen, this is not good food. This is not good for me. And I will tell you, I don't know if I've told this story before, but I won't tell the whole story. But I just remember when we had our horse farm, and when horses dies, you take them to a rendering plant, or you get Al the Undertaker to come out to your yard and dig a big old hole and bury the horse. But I found out there was a plant. It's a pet. I'm not going to name the name, but it's in Winchester, Virginia, and they buy your meat. So you drive. So I've had this horse on my trailer. I drive through, they weigh it, and then they come out. This guy comes out of the warehouse, puts a chain around the horse's legs, and drags it into this warehouse where these meats get ground up to use for pet protein for food. And so you're like, wow, you're eating all these dead animals. I mean, it's not like they're not eating, hamburger and chicken and turkey doesn't come from a dead animal, but you don't even know the quality or how long. They didn't have no clue how long my horse was dead.
That's true, but in the wild, that's the way they eat.
Yeah, but man, to see that horse being dragged into a warehouse where it's going to be in a grinder and it's going to end up in somebody's bowl to feed their pet, it was just like shocking to me, and I can't believe that did change my mind on how to feed our dog or cat back then.
Yeah, that's crazy. I know well, a lot of the commercial animal pet foods, they're geared towards the human that's feeding the animal, not for the animal.
Yeah, I mean they put those. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, if you've ever seen like the boardroom or something at one of those pet like food places, that they have all these people sitting around with the little dish of the food and they're smelling it, and it's like, well, you're like, you're not the animal, you don't know what it's supposed to smell like. Like, it's not please the human.
Now you got Rachel Ray's got a brand of pet food, like because she's had a cooking show and successful, and they put, you're right, they put the pictures on that high-end food like it's like you're gonna eat it.
Right. I know. To appeal to like a dog, you'd want to like have a picture of roadkill or something.
Fresh roadkill. That should be a name of a pet food brand.
Yeah.
But talk about brands, I'm gonna do a shout out to Billy the supplier, who sent me a emu egg. So Billy, I want to hold it up. I don't know if you can see that. He said, why is it not? There we go. Oh,
it's clear. Oh,
there it is. However, it arrived broken. So I had the yolk was on me, or yolk was in the box. So I still have not tasted the emu egg, but Billy, bless his heart, is going to send me another emu egg. So I'll let you go. I'll let everybody know next week what I'm going to do with that emu egg. But Brian's not joking. These things are huge. I mean, they are big. I just, I see it on the camera, but to actually have one in your hand to realize how big it really is. It's wow.
Yeah, I can't imagine eating one of those sunny side up. That'd be a task.
I'm gonna try to do it. That's what I'm gonna do. I want bacon and an emu egg. Or I'm gonna make another recipe I want to talk about with you today is one that I saw that Linda Hazer posted about the poffles. Did you see?
With the
have you made poffles before, Brian?
I'm trying to think. I may have done it once where I added a little bit of pork panko. Of course, I use it for the pancakes, but I've always thought, I wonder if I could use that in the chaffles. But I think I might have done that for one of my things, but I can't remember.
Because when I make the chaffles, I do 1 egg, and I think it's a half a cup of mozzarella cheese is what I use, and then I'll add a little bit of salt, salt in it, and that's all I do. I know the recipe that she said that she used for this poffle was a 1/3 cup, 1 egg, a 1/3 cup of shredded cheese, and a half a cup of pork panko, and that would make 2 poffles on your waffle maker. But I haven't tried that recipe yet.
Yeah, I do. I throw stuff in randomly. And I don't measure. I don't even know. Yeah, I just sort of throw it together however much. And if there's leftovers, I just make a few extras and throw them in the freezer for later.
Yeah, you and Peggy are very similar in the way you cook. She goes by feel. So much like when I ask you, when I see a recipe that you do, I call you or text you and say, hey, what's the recipe for that? You're like, she's the same way. I go, hey, what's the recipe for that? That was really good. She goes, I don't know.
I know.
I throw a little bit of this, and then she tastes it. And she goes, okay, this needs that. And she throws that in there, and then it's perfect. It comes out great. And then when I go, it frustrates her. When I go, well, what's the recipe? I don't know. I just threw a bunch of this and that in there. And so every recipe's, every time I'm going to make this, it's going to be a little bit different because I'm going by feel and touch.
Yeah, unless I write it down, which I hardly ever do. But you had asked me about those chocolate cupcakes that I made, and I kind of wrote it down while it was still on my mind. Hang on, let me throw this back in the freezer.
Sure.
But yeah, after that, I had a couple left over that I stuck in the refrigerator, and I've decided since I sent you that recipe that I had used the what you call it, the gelatin powder in there. I think I'm going to try it one more time without the gelatin powder because I noticed once you refrigerate them, it gets a little bit too stiff.
Right.
Cake part. So yeah, people keep asking me for that recipe, and I'm like, I'm still tweaking it because I got to get it right because it's got to be right. And it's real close right now, but I think it's the gelatin is taking it a little too far towards.
So how many cupcakes have you made during this project?
Oh, well, I made the first initial ones. There were 3 of those big ones. This time I ended up with 4, but I only filled the cupcake thing up halfway, so I made 4 different slightly smaller cupcakes.
More regular size cupcakes, not the colossal keto cupcakes that you made last time.
Yeah. So people, they keep, oh, when are you gonna make a video? And it's like, well, I just finished those other cupcakes. I don't want to make more now. It's like I give myself a break. Like too many of those cupcakes around the house are not good for me.
Yeah.
I can tell myself, well, I'm just gonna have one today and maybe one like in a couple more days, but I can't stay away from them.
Right. So
like if they're in there, I'm gonna eat them.
So Maria was saying that she's working on making your red velvet cupcakes. She's been working on a recipe too, and maybe she's going to make some at the Keto Rocks retreat for us to sample. So we could have a cupcake off between you and Maria.
Yeah. I was looking into the red velvet. There's more to it than just the food coloring. Like a true red velvet,
right?
They say you use vinegar, and it's a chemical reaction between the vinegar and the cocoa that turns it a red, but it's not like a bright red. It's like a deep red.
So then you do not need to put red dye in there then to get that red coloring?
Unless you like it. Yeah, they did that later to sort of enhance it. But the original red velvet recipes were the vinegar with the cocoa powder is what caused the redness.
Really? That's all. I did not know that. So
Yeah.
There you go, everybody. There is something that makes you go, right there.
Yeah, so I was thinking of maybe I could throw in like a tablespoon of vinegar in my next batch and see what happens and get a red velvet version.
There you go. So how you said the first batch you made tasted pretty good, right? You said they were just like normal cupcakes. If you fed one to somebody, they wouldn't know the difference.
Yeah, I mean both batches were good. They tasted good. It's just that well, I guess maybe because these were in the refrigerator longer, like with the gelatin powder, they're better warm, like before they completely cool, because they're still kind of soft. Once you put them in the refrigerator, then they get kind of it's almost like they're stale or something. But it's the gelatin. It's just it stiffens it too much. So I think, but as far as taste goes, they're great. I mean, the cream cheese is like, I mean, it's basically cream cheese frosting. There's nothing, you can't mess that up.
So the cupcake itself, so is it, you said you modified some of your cake recipes that you use to make keto cakes?
Yeah, that's what I do. I'll just look up a cake recipe and then I'll just look at the ingredients I don't want and figure out, well, okay, if I put that in there instead of that and this instead of that, and I just tweak it and throw these things together and then try it. So I'm basically following the instructions of a regular cupcake, but I'm replacing all the parts.
Well, that chocolate cupcake, that's why when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, when you talked about that, I was like, oh my gosh, that'd be so great. I've not made it yet. I'm going to make it. I'm gonna modify the gelatin. Um,
Unless you're planning on eating them before you refrigerate them. You know, they are good, like, when they're not, well, you can't have them warm when you frost them. You have to let them at least cool. But when they're at room temperature, they're perfect before you put them in the refrigerator.
yeah, I don't think I have the willpower to let a chocolate cupcake last more than being in front of me for that one day, because I mean, I know myself. I'm gonna eat one and I'm like, man, that tasted so good. I'm gonna go back and I'm not gonna be able to say no to that. So I'll make two or three or four for Peggy and I, and then that'll be it. I won't make them for a while because, like you, I'll eat them as long as they're out. With that being said, we got Brian Shanker, who runs the Meat Tribe channel, going to give you the meat deals of the week. So, Brian, let's talk about that for a second.
Hey, Jim, how's it going?
Going well. How are you doing, Brian?
I'm doing pretty good. So I've got 4 deals that I'm going to talk to you about today. The first one is over at Food Lion. So if you have a Food Lion near you, they've got some choice grade bone-in T-bone steaks for $8.99 a pound. And that deal is running through April 27th. That's a pretty good deal for some T-bone steaks. They've also got some beef shoulder roast choice grade for $4.99 a pound as well. And that deal also goes to the 27th of April. Harris Teeter, I'm finding that Harris Teeter's got some really, really good deals. They've got a choice grade, boneless Harris Teeter Reserve Angus beef New York strip steak for $8.99 a pound. That's a pretty good deal for some New York strips. Another store that's got a great deal is Giant Eagle. They've got a boneless, what they're calling Market District top round London broil or beef roast, buy one, get one free. I don't know how much they're charging per pound, but buy one, get one free. That's not a bad deal at all. And
That's
then
a pretty good deal.
Yeah, that's pretty
So
good deal.
So you go ahead and buy one, and I'll take the one that's for free.
There you go. I went by there. That deal doesn't actually start until tomorrow. I drove by there because I wanted to find out how much per pound they were charging, but they don't have any information. So that one goes on sale tomorrow.
Okay.
And then Weiss has a pretty good deal. This deal at Weiss is only on the 23rd of April. I believe that's this Friday. So they've got certified Angus beef sirloin tip London broil at $3.99 a pound.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a pretty good deal. Anytime you're getting some decent meat for under $5 a pound, I think you're doing all right. So I wanted to ask you a question.
Sure.
Everybody has their favorite kind of steak. What cut steak is your favorite?
Prime rib is my favorite. I mean, bone-in ribeye and prime rib is my 2 favorite cuts of meat.
Yeah, I can tell you cook a lot of prime rib. I see your pictures. My favorite, I love ribeyes. And it's funny because growing up, my parents used to get T-bones or porterhouse. And I loved the way my dad, he would be the one grilling them. I loved those steaks. He always cooked them well done. So I grew up in a household where there was no pink in the meat ever.
Yeah, it was shoe leather.
It wasn't so bad because they were porterhouse or T-bones, so the fillet was always still tender, even though it was well done. But I have grown in the last several years to really appreciate and love medium to I like it medium. My wife, she'll get stuff a little bit under medium, so a little bit medium rare. But when we go out and get steaks or when I grill them, I'm trying to hit that medium temperature all day long. I really don't like them when they're well done anymore. So
medium rare is my favorite. So I'm more on your wife's side. But you know, one of my favorite things, talking about deals, I don't know how many people have Aldi's by their house, but Aldi's has shaved ribeye for $5.99 a package. You can buy that at other stores. It's normally $8.99 to $10.99 a package, but Aldi's sells it for $5.99. And probably one of my favorite and quickest meals to cook, which you see a lot of pictures, I post about it all the time, is green peppers, onions, and shaved ribeye with cheese. And that literally is probably my favorite and easiest meal to cook.
Yes.
And it's cheap. So
yeah,
so go to Aldi's, buy yourself your shaved ribeye for $5.99. Just leave one package in the summer duck area for myself, and we can all be cooking shaved ribeye with green peppers and onions. I don't know. There's just something about that combination just always gets my mouth watering.
So actually, Aldi's doesn't really advertise any of their meat deals, and I haven't had a chance to run by. We have one right up the street from us, so I haven't had time to run by there to check it out. But so if you see any deals at Aldi's, please take a picture of it and shoot it over to me, and I'll put it on the channel. The other question I was going to ask you is, so I haven't been concentrating on finding any deals on ground beef. What do you feel is a good deal price-wise on ground beef? What are you seeing that's a decent deal that makes you run out and go buy a bunch?
Well, typically Giant puts it on sale. I think it's their 85.15 or their 93.7, one of those two mixes. They drop it down to $2.99 a pound. And when they do that, I usually buy $300 worth of hamburger. I just stock my freezer with it because it's normally at least $4.99 to $5.99 a pound. So when they drop it $2 off, I go around and just hit all the Giants and take all their hamburger, and the reason why is not only do my wife and I eat it, but we as we're discussing tonight, we cook our own food for our dog. So every 6 days we cook and package our own food for our dog. Our Slinky is our actual carnivore as well, so he eats nothing but beef himself. So beef and chicken and not beef and chicken, beef and tuna fish and salmon, not even salmon, sardines. Goodness gracious. Yeah. So and tuna. So tuna, sardines, and a pound of hamburger and 3 pounds of turkey. That's what I mean. So turkey, hamburger, sardines, and tuna is what we do every week. We cook that for him, package it up, and that's what he eats. He eats that every day. And I've never had a dog that's coat is so shiny as Slinky's is.
Right.
So yeah. So to answer your question, yes, when it's $2.99 for 85.15 or 93.7, I pack the freezer full.
Okay, I'll keep my eye out for that because I haven't been concentrating on ground beef, and we buy 2 grades of ground beef in our house. It's either 90-10, which I cook, taco meat and stuff for the kids, sorry about that they like, and I pick up some stuff, these 1 pound packages from Walmart that are I believe it's 27% fat, and I make my dirty rice and anything that I make, just I make it with that because it's got the higher fat content to help things out there and the flavor.
Right. No, they do. Well, hey, tell everybody how they can get to your meat tribe. I know you got your channel out, and people can go check out your channel and subscribe to you so they can keep up to date during the week as well.
Yeah, perfect. So just want to let everybody know to hear the full update, which is going to have many more meat deals of the week, head on over to my YouTube channel. It's called Meat Tribe, and Meat Tribe is all one word. There's no spaces. And when you get there, please go ahead and subscribe. Love to have you.
Awesome. Well, no, thanks, Brian, for taking the time and coming on us. We'll look forward to hearing the next week's meat deals of the week from you next Friday.
Sounds good, Jim. Take care.
All right. We'll see you.
Bye.
Not you, Brian. unless you got some deals to share with us.
No, I think he's got them all covered. He's got a lot. He finds a lot of deals.
One of the things I think I say this, one of the questions that people ask is, what do you like to eat? And, one of the things that I really have become, I love making, I just love the combination. It's so simple, is definitely shaved ribeye, green peppers, and onions on the griddle. I just love that combination. I've always been attracted at fairs and carnivals since I was a kid to go by those food trucks at the carnival or fair where they got the green peppers and onions and those big sausages laying out there on the grill cooking, and that smell. And I've always loved the combination of onions and green peppers with salt and black pepper on it. But you throw that shaved ribeye in, and man, and add cheese of your choice, and just put that in a bowl. And it doesn't take long to cook that up. I mean, it's a easy less than 30 minutes to put the whole thing together from start to finish, including cutting up the onions and the green peppers. But gosh, the flavors of that 3 ingredient combination is just, man, I love it.
Yeah, I'm a fan of, especially the sautéed onions.
Oh yes,
grilled, and I can't eat raw onions, but yeah, grilled onions I still love those.
Do they still mess with your gut? They give you gut trouble?
I've not eaten them in such a long time. I don't know. They might. I don't know. That's a good question. I know in the last couple of months I've eaten a few spears of asparagus, and that's like the only time I've ever strayed off into that and that pizza sauce I used. But
asparagus I love, and broccoli. Those are two, and I do like cauliflower, but Peg and I rarely go out and buy vegetables anymore. I mean, truly, the only thing that we eat outside of meat is the green peppers and onions. That's about the only thing we add to it. Everything else is just eggs or steak, and that's it.
Well, the asparagus was at a restaurant, so I wouldn't have bought it here. but yeah, well, you mentioned broccoli. Yeah, I could never eat broccoli. That would kill me. I know that would. I mean, I used to like it. I really love Brussels sprouts, but I can't eat that. It's just like, oh,
man.
That affected me the last time I ate that so bad that even though I like it, I don't have a desire to eat it.
It killed your desire, huh?
Yeah.
Well, hey, how's things going in the rock world? How's things going in the music world? Is things opening up for you guys? I'm hearing different reports on the news.
Yeah, I mean, we still have the show in May in Frederick, and then there's the night after we're playing in Baltimore. But there was another one. When was that? Oh, I guess we already passed it. But there's still a few here and there that stray shows that have gotten moved or canceled. We had after that Frederick show, we had a Penn's Peak show coming up, which has already been moved several times. They just moved it this week too, so it's been moved to August. So things are still getting moved around.
Well, how are things there in Nashville? How's things in Tennessee? Where are you guys at as far as socializing and gathering at?
That's a good question. I don't go out, but I've heard that it's pretty packed down on Broadway now. Like it's almost like it's back to normal down there.
Yeah,
so.
I see Emily's making a trip to Nashville here shortly. She's been talking about that a lot lately. So
yeah, she'll be here when I'm gone.
Really?
Yeah. But
well, maybe she'll run into Dr. Steve downstairs using your smoker, or in the basement. She can say hello to him.
Yeah. Yeah, she's planning on checking out all the sites, and she wants to go out to Annie Acres Farm where I get my eggs to check out the little calves and the goat.
I was gonna say, is that where the goats are? That's where the goats are, right?
The goat and the little pigs, but the little pigs aren't so little anymore. And I actually haven't seen the goat lately. It used to be wandering around like the dogs, or with
after James Breakwell was on the show last week with us we were talking about his pigs. I went and did some research. Man, pigs have a very high IQ and they have feelings and love, and they last. I mean, I did not know they last 20 years. I had no clue that a pig would live 20 years if they were left, on their own without people who love bacon raising them. But
Yeah, they are smart, very smart animals.
yeah, I was reading about that. I was like, wow. I mean, I almost felt bad for a second. I mean, I was like, wow, it's like eating a pet. I mean, they were talking about how they're really smart. You can train them and how they really do love their owners and they are able to love and it's like, wow, that's I need to stop reading this.
I know. I know. I think that's, yeah. When I started eating bacon again, I think that's what really turned Janice off.
Yeah. But everybody serves a purpose. So, we're not honoring them if we don't eat what they came here to produce. So I'm honoring the pigs. I'm one with the pig, and I love your bacon that you provide for us here on planet Earth. So thank you, pigs.
Yeah, I have a friend that has a pig. He posts on Instagram like these little videos, and there was one with this pig out in the yard playing soccer with a ball, like running around and kicking this ball with its nose all around the yard. It was funny.
Yeah, I remember watching them. Somebody had a pig on what's America's Got Talent, had a bunch of pigs and they could do all kinds of tricks. I mean, it was truly amazing watching pigs were just like dogs. They were jumping through hoops. They were doing the ball thing. They were doing all kinds of different stuff. And I was like, wow. I mean, how long does it take you to train a pig? But evidently they're pretty smart.
Yeah,
Just not smart enough to get away from us humans, so they don't turn on to bacon or sausage.
I know.
So, but well, what else is going on, Brian? What else is happening there in Nashville, Tennessee these days?
Well, I don't know. It's been really nice here until this morning. It was freezing cold, and I had to drop my car off at the shop because I was getting it fixed, and the shop is like a mile and a half up the road, and it was like 8 a.m. I dropped the car and I thought, well, I'll just walk back, and it was like 37 degrees this morning. I was freezing.
Wow.
And the wind was blowing, and I'm like, oh, what did I get myself into? Like, of all the mornings, I had to be freezing on the day I had to walk.
That's the way it is. That's Murphy's Law.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been really nice here in Virginia till today, and all of a sudden, like, man, around, I don't know, noon, 11 o'clock, noon, man, a cold front comes in. I mean, wind's blowing like 25, 45 miles per hour, furniture's blowing across the yard, and we had to bring all the plants in because it's supposed to get down to freezing tonight. So we had to bring all our plants in the garage and inside the house, and it's supposed to be like that for the next 3 days. But up until today, it's been like perfect, no humidity, 70 degrees, sun's out. It's been beautiful.
Yeah, I think you get like a day after you get what we got. Yeah, it was like mid 70s this week. It was nice here.
Yeah, this is take the wind out of it, and this is great time of the year to be outside, except for this is my worst time of year to be outside because I have allergies to the pollen and to tree, and I go outside and I'm out there for a little bit. I have to come in because I'm literally sneezing. My nose is just itching. My eyes are watering. So I have to come inside from that. So this once into May gets here, I'm okay. Once whatever's in the air at this time, it's rough for me for the next 30 days, but I'll get through it.
Yeah, I'm lucky in that area. I don't have any problems with that.
Yeah, I didn't have any issues at all up until I think my hair fell out in my late 20s. I started having allergies in my 30s, and then my eyesight went in the 40s. So 50s has been pretty good with keto carnivore, but like a lot of people say that their allergies go away on a keto lifestyle. That has not been my experience. I mean, all the other benefits are good. I've not experienced not having the allergic reaction that I normally do to tree and pollen during this time of year. So I welcome the keto to do that, the lifestyle to take that away from me.
Well, that could be still one little aspect of it, you know. You never know. I mean, it could be like the dairy or something.
Yeah, I've pretty much taken the dairy out, but it could be my my confession time. Jim Hobbs is going to confess again. I do love my peanut butter and peanuts. At this time of year, I'm a peanut. I love cracking peanuts outside and have bound on a bonfire and having peanuts, or grabbing that spoon of organic. If it wasn't for Costco that sold the organic peanut butter with just sea salt, that's all the two ingredients is: sea salt and organic peanut butter. Because, you know, Peggy's kind of got me a little bit on edge about eating the peanuts. She's like, eating peanuts is the worst thing you could do to yourself because of all the poisons they spray the peanut fields with when they grow them. So the peanut absorbs all that stuff, and you're eating that unless they're organic. So I was like, I didn't think about that. So I was like,
and Jim was talking, or Steve was talking about eating the shells. And that's probably got even more of the pesticides.
Yeah, so all those toxins are probably in him. It's probably the reason why he can't say no. It's poison his brain. So that and the ketchup.
Have you ever eaten almond butter?
I love almond butter.
Okay, because I know when I stopped eating peanuts, because that was a keto no-no, was peanuts.
Yeah, that's a no-no.
When I stopped that, I went over to almond butter and discovered I like that even better.
Yeah. It's not a more.
Now I can't eat that either. So.
No, I love almond butter, and they got so many different butters now. They got cashew butter. They got all kinds of them now. You know, Billy sent me that flyer where the emu egg came from. I was surprised to see all the benefits that emu gives you, from the emu meat to the. I don't know if he sent you a flyer as well.
No, he didn't. I don't think.
Well, anyway, it's pretty amazing what emu eggs and emu meat does for you. There's a lot of benefits to emu, so I want to read up on that, and I may be having an emu. Well, that's I'm looking at the time, and it flies by. It flies by.
Yeah.
So, Brian, what would you like to tell everybody who's watching the show? What bit of advice would you give everybody?
Eat your meat. Don't eat your meat.
And that goes for your pets too.
Yeah.
So,
yes.
All right, everybody. Well, hey, thanks for joining us tonight. We will see you next Friday, same time, same place. Stay safe, stay well, and stay out of the hospital.